Hey YouTube, KiraTwig here, bringing you all an update to my Battle Guard Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile for Post-Dimension Force. I never thought we'd get another Battle Guard. We only had a couple released throughout the Yu-Gi-Oh! Series and the actual TCG, but this one, the Battle Guard Cadet, really does add to the consistency of the Battle Guard deck. It's actually a pretty generic level 1 monster when you think about it for the warrior support, but it does work very, very well with its intended purpose, which is with the other Battle Guard monsters, and also with that setup and all of the other cards in the deck. I wanted to do an update for this support. Maybe we'll get some more Battle Guards in the future. I think the last time we got any support for the Battle Guards was like the first set for the Arc 5 series. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for the monsters, we're running 3 of the new Battle Guard Cadet. All Battle Guard monsters you control gain 500 attack. You can only use each of the following effects of Battle Guard Cadet once per turn. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add 1 Feast of the level 5 from your deck to your hand. You can tribute this card to special summon 1 level 8 warrior monster from your hand. So the special summon for the warrior monster is meant for Battle Guard King. And then you're meant to use the Feast of the level 5 to then special summon out your Swamp and Lava Battle Guards from your hand or graveyard into the field to set up for the Battle Guard King. I really do think that Battle Guard Cadet is the only monster with 50 attack. I think we've always had at least 100, but 50 marks this one for the first, I believe, I may be wrong, monsters with just 50 attack. So very, very interesting to see that as well. But a true powerhouse needed for the deck just for all of that setup. For the other Battle Guards, I'm running 3 Swamp Battle Guard and 3 Lava Battle Guard. This card gains 500 attack for each Lava Battle Guard you control, and Lava Battle Guard has the same except for when Swamp Battle Guard's on the field. They both have swapped attack and defense aside from Lava Battle Guard having 50 attack, but still, they're great targets for the Feast of the level 5 because then you contribute them for your Battle Guard King or use them for overlay material into some of the different Xyz monsters or just link material for the extra deck. And then as for the go-to boss monster, for the Battle Guards, I run 3 Battle Guard King. Once per turn, you can tribute any number of warrior-type monsters except for this card. For each tributed monster, this card gains 1 additional attack during the battle phase this turn. So the main play for this is obviously with Feast of the level 5, since the monsters you summon off of this card have their effect negated and they cannot attack. So you're meant to tribute them for Battle Guard King so he can attack multiple times as a 3,000 attack point monster against your opponent, which could be the winning condition if your opponent doesn't have any other resources to use on the field, or even if you had an additional Battle Guard in the field, you swing over their monster and then swing with Battle Guard King 3 times per game. For the additional level 5 warrior support, I am also running 3 Hayate the Earth Star. If your opponent controls a monster, or if you control a light monster, you can normal summon this card without tributing. If this card is normal or special summon, you can special summon 1 level 5 light warrior monster from your hand. You can only use this effect of Hayate the Earth Star once per turn. And once per turn, when your warrior monster is targeted for an attack, you can make this card lose exactly 500 attack, and if you do, negate the attack. It's just another easy setup with the level 5 warrior premise in the deck to work with Feast of the level 5, and also with the next monster that we run, which is your Tenma, the Sky Star. I thought of running the Star Fusion level 5 monster as well, but then you'd have to go for more of a fusion layout in the extra deck as well, which would kind of be affected with some of the other spells that I'm running for draw consistency in the deck, which we'll get to in just a bit. But with Tenma, the Sky Star, if only your opponent controls a monster, or if you control an Earth monster, you can normal summon this card without tributing. If this card's normal or special summon, you can special summon 1 level 5 Earth monster from your hand. You will use this effect of Tenma on the Sky Star once per turn. And when your opponent activates a card effect that targets a warrior monster, you can make this card lose 500 attack and negate the activation. So you have the play set up for both of these cards with Tenma the Sky Star stopping card effects and Hayate the Earth Star stopping the attacks. Working very, very well with the Battle Guard setup, like I said, with Feast of the Wild level 5, and then the overall power of being able to then tribute your additional monsters you have on the field, still with Battle Guard King. And then for additional power setup, I also run 2 Overlay Booster, along with it being a light warrior type monster, level 5. It works well with Hayate, just like your Tenma would, and another easy special summon onto the field, just having to control a monster with 2,000 or more attack, which if you stack your Battle Guard attack pretty up with the different ones on the field, you can hit that requirement pretty easily with those, or even just with your star monsters that we run in the deck to special summon this card out. That is it for the main deck monsters. We'll now move on to the spells, running 3 Feast of the level 5, or of the wild level 5, searchable with Battle Guard Cadet, and with it you special summon up to 2 level 5 warrior monsters from your hand and or graveyard, but their effects are negated. Also, they cannot attack. This is also not a once per turn card, so if you open up multiples of this and have the warrior type monsters ready to special summon out, you have resources galore to use with them to summon out extra deck monsters, and you don't necessarily have to, keep them on the field. Like I said, you can go for your extra deck plays and then just special the 2 back out of the field again with the second one you may have opened in your hand. For more additional draw power, I do run 3 Pot of Extravagance. There's really no specific cards that we are, using in the extra deck. There's no Battle Guard extra deck monster. So Pot of Extravagance can make use of the extra deck for additional draw power to get those level 5 resources needed into our hand, or just a quicker way to add Battle Guard King to our hand, because that's the one thing. Cadet does special summon out Battle Guard King, but you cannot search it quite easily with the deck as you could with some of the other cards. And additionally, for the 1-ofs, I run 1 Pot of Desires for the draw power, just like Extravagance. We run 3-ofs for a good number of the cards in the deck as well. So even if you just get 1 Cadet, there are ways to special summon this card back onto the field to recycle it from the graveyard. The 1-for-1, another speedier way to summon out Battle Guard Cadet onto the field. 1 Foolish Barrel for setting up in the graveyard for special summoning. 1 Monster Reborn is another way to special summon onto the field. And 1 Call by the Grave for stopping your opponent's own plays when they try to disrupt your own searches and special summons. And that is it for the spells. We'll now move on to the traps. I run 3 Battle Guard Howling. When the warrior monster you control is targeted for an attack or by an opponent's monster effect, target one face of monster your opponent controls, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the original attack of that monster, and then if you do, return it to the hand. So this is a great intimidation tactic of the Battle Guards in the deck, just to return that monster to your opponent's hand, but also inflict burn damage against them. I would say definitely 3 of, just for the desired target, and so you always have that extra defense along with the star monsters to protect your Battle Guards. And also the 3 Battle Guard Rage, more of a power boost card. You target a warrior type monster you control, it gains 1,000 attack, and monsters destroyed by battle with it are returned to the hand instead of going to the graveyard. So you can get around extra deck monsters using this card when those Battle Guard monsters attack into it. And another way is you can just equip this on to Battle Guard King, having a 4,000 attack point monster thanks to this and that card altogether. With the last of the traps, trap of choice just being Call of the Haunted, you can even go with Back to the Front. It's just meant to summon out Battle Guard Cadet and continue to get these searches for one of the best spells that we're running in the deck, being Feast of the Wild level 5. But that is it for the main deck. When I move on to the extra deck, we run a pretty generic extra deck in total. For the Battle Guards, we're running 1 Linkuriboh. If you don't have the Tribute for your Cadet to go for the level 8 monster, it's much safer to sit on a Kuriboh than the Battle Guard Cadet on the field, especially if it's in attack position, having only 50 attack. The 1 Akashic Magician for the Warrior setup. The 1 Isolde. Now you can potentially run the equip spells instead of the Call of the Haunteds in the deck as a means to send with Isolde, but you do have to set up 2 warrior monsters on the field with this, so it would require the Feast of the level 5 and then 2 level 5 monsters to go into this card. So Isolde is mostly in here just as a quicker way to add your Battle Guard King to your hand to use later on. And I also run 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 1 Underclock Taker, 1 Asa the Earth Charmer, 1 Nightmare Unicorn, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Boral Sword, 1 Access Code Talker, and 1 Apollousa for the Link monsters. Like I said, it's pretty generic just because of the Pot of Extravagance. So when you have some banished targets, you still have usable cards in your extra deck to go into. Along with the Xyz monsters being 1 Volcasaurus, 1 Wind-Up Arsenal Zenmao, 1 Gaia the Thunder Charger to overlay into them, and then additionally the 1 Sky Thunder Zeus for overlaying over those cards also. And then as for some of the go-to plays in the deck, Battle Guard Cadet really does open up a good number of them. So with it, searching out your Feast of the level 5, if you have the initial Battle Guard play in your hand, which would consist of having 1 of each of the Battle Guards in your hand. If you don't have 1 of each, even if you don't have Swamp or Lava Battle Guard, if you have these 4 cards in your hand, then that is the combo to go into. You summon out your Battle Guard Cadet, searching out the Feast of the Wild level 5, activating it to special summon out your Swamp and Lava Battle Guard onto the field. They cannot attack, but then you still have your Battle Guard Cadet on the field, which you will then tribute to then summon out your Battle Guard King. Battle Guard King will then be able to tribute both of your battle guards on the field to then attack 3 times into your opponent. If you have the additional Feast of the level 5, or Wild level 5, I'm going to say that the whole video, in your hand, you can activate this again, special summoning both the Swamp and Battle Guard and Lava Battle Guard back onto the field, and then using both for the overlay. So if you wanted to go for more of a safe attack into your opponent, you could always go for Zenmao to then destroy their back row, or even for your Volcasaurus to destroy their monster, and then swing for the Battle Guard for game. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. It's a really, really fun deck. I couldn't believe we were getting a new Battle Guard in the set, but it always makes it fun when there's just that one new card you get in a Yu-Gi-Oh set, and it means you have to do a whole update to the deck because it just changes it that much. And as always, until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.